let's talk about the client. We want to make that client more powerful. Today, if you think about how you build applications, you could argue that the richest applications are built to these native platforms. And yes, there's been some attempts to bridge the worlds of the internet and these native clients. But the reality is that the open web stack that we're referring to is the line in red, the web browser. And if you step back for a long enough time period, over 10 years, well, you can see that web browser is evolving slowly. Certainly, the inclusion of XML HTTP requests in the late 1990s was a milestone for the browser. It allowed us to make those asynchronous calls. But do you remember the first application, widespread application, or the one that was widely adopted that used XML HTTP requests? What kicked off the AJAX revolution? Do you remember? Yes, I heard a few here. There was a few apps. Someone yelled Outlook as an AJAX app. Another app that we think helped contribute to demonstrating what was possible was Gmail in April of 2004. These and many apps really started to demonstrate, hey, in the web browser, you could in fact build an app that was surprising, that the web wasn't just about content. But why did it take that long before we used the dormant capabilities in the browser? Is that what we're stuck to? That we'll see innovation in the browser happen on timescales of decades? We think that's unacceptable. There have been recent improvements in the browser, things like the Canvas tags and the latest generation of browsers that allow us to have higher fidelity. But at Google, we want to accelerate that red line. We want to move up the capabilities of that browser. We believe that in time will get richer and richer. One of our first steps to improve the platform was to introduce Gears last year. And for those of you who attended our conference last year, you'll no doubt remember that was one of the key highlights. We're very excited about Gears. Gears at a very simple level is a plugin. It's a plugin that works in almost every browser. And that plugin extends the functionality of the browser. It does not change the programming model. It does not insert a new programming model. But it extends what you can do with JavaScript and the DOM by giving you offline capabilities, injecting a SQL database into those browsers, giving you the ability to have asynchronous threads so that your calls no longer block. And we think that's a very exciting way to extend the browser. But what we're most excited about, you could say, in the last year, was not only the adoption of Gears, but how Gears affected the standards world. The HTML5 group has taken many of the key attributes of Gears, the offline capability, the storage, the SQL storage capability, and put that into HTML5. And at Google, we are thrilled. We are huge supporters of HTML5, and we believe that is the future direction of where that client will go, and are thrilled at the progress that team is making in driving that browser forward. In some respects, you could think of Gears as a bleeding-edge implementation where Google hardens its interfaces to real-world applications at the same time with our deep support and our commitment for HTML5.